High-ranking al-Qaeda and Taliban leaders have been killed, and we've stepped up the pressure on al-Qaeda worldwide. In Pakistan, that nation's army has gone on its largest offensive in years. In Afghanistan, we and our allies prevented the Taliban from stopping a presidential election. And although it was marred by fraud, that election produced a government that is consistent with Afghanistan's laws and constitution. Yet huge challenges remain. Afghanistan is not lost, but for several years it has moved backwards. There's no imminent threat of the government being overthrown, but the Taliban has gained momentum. Al-Qaeda has not reemerged in Afghanistan in the same numbers as before 9/11, but they retain their safe havens along the border. And our forces lack the full support they need to effectively train and partner with Afghan security forces and better secure the population. Our new commander in Afghanistan, General McChrystal, has reported that the security situation is more serious than he anticipated. In short, the status quo is not sustainable.
It's an executive assassination wing, essentially. It's the Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC it's called. They do not report to anybody except in the Bush-Cheney days, they reported directly to the Cheney office. Under President Bush's authority, they've been going into countries, not talking to the ambassador or to the CIA station chief, and finding people on a list and executing them and leaving.
A Special Operations Command spokesman rejects the report, says their forces operate under established rules of engagement and the law of armed conflict.
The 30,000 additional troops that I'm announcing tonight will deploy in the first part of 2010, the fastest possible pace, so that they can target the insurgency and secure key population centers. They'll increase our ability to train competent Afghan security forces and to partner with them so that more Afghans can get into the fight. And they will help create the conditions for the United States to transfer responsibility to the Afghans. There are those who suggest that Afghanistan is another Vietnam. They argue that it cannot be stabilized, and we're better off cutting our losses and rapidly withdrawing. I believe this argument depends on a false reading of history. Unlike Vietnam, we are joined by a broad coalition of 43 nations that recognizes the legitimacy of our action. Unlike Vietnam, we are not facing a broad-based popular insurgency. And most importantly, unlike Vietnam, the American people were viciously attacked from Afghanistan and remain a target for those same extremists who are plotting along its border. To abandon this area now and to rely only on efforts against al-Qaeda from a distance would significantly hamper our ability to keep the pressure on al-Qaeda and create an unacceptable risk of additional attacks on our homeland and our allies.
Take your mask off, it's against the law. Take it off. You know what? Officers, grab these guys. Grab these guys. Take him assault, take him assault. Go fight. Assault. In there, assault. Bro.
Get off him! Stop it! Hey! Stop it!
Arrested for protesting.
Get inside!
These good people were arrested for protesting.
You guys are fucking punk.
Let them go!
Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! Let them go!
My experience in Vietnam, 2 years, going to 38 of the 43 provinces in Vietnam over a period of 2 years, looking at pacification, writing doctrine for pacification, actually, for what's now called counterinsurgency, taught me that we were not going to succeed in Vietnam, not by what we were doing, and really eventually I realized not by anything that anyone had proposed. There was no prospect for victory in Vietnam, only endless, bloody stalemate that was likely to escalate as it did not only under Johnson but under Nixon as well in the air.
And why? I mean, some
For
people
the
say
same
the
reason
reason
it was in Afghanistan. let me repeat the same words, just change the place names. That's what I could do with the papers I wrote 30 years ago, and they would apply now. No victory lies ahead in Afghanistan. No success of any sort that will be lasting once American troops leave.